On July 19, 1872, a lone wagon rolled into the remote hills of western Colorado, carrying a glittering secret that would soon fool the nation's wealthiest men. In an era still echoing with the clamor of gold rushes and the promise of untamed fortunes, the United States was hungry for the next great discovery, and two modest prospectors were ready to feed that appetite with a lie forged from pure stone. Philip Arnold and John Slack, two men of modest means and boundless ambition, set the stage for what would become the most audacious mining fraud of the 19th century, a con that would briefly convince financiers such as Charles Tiffany, William H. Vanderbilt, and even the governor of Colorado that a new diamond district had been unearthed on the American frontier. The story begins in the wake of the Civil War, a time when the nation's railroads stretched ever farther west, and the myth of the frontier still burned bright in the popular imagination. The discovery of gold at California's Sutter's Mill in 1848 and the subsequent rushes in Colorado, Nevada, and the Black Hills had taught investors that a single claim could turn a modest capital into a fortune beyond imagination. Yet while gold and silver were abundant, diamonds, those rare, immutable symbols of wealth, remained a European monopoly. The prospect of finding a domestic source of diamonds was a siren call that few could resist. Arnold and Slack, originally from the Ohio mining circuit, arrived in the Colorado Territory in early 1872 with a plan that was as simple as it was devious. They selected an isolated valley near the Little Sandy River, a region already known for its rugged beauty and mineral potential, but utterly untouched by serious prospecting. Under the cover of night, they scattered a modest cache of cheap, low-grade diamonds, garnets, and sapphires, acquired from a New York jeweler willing to part with the stones for a pittance, through the riverbed, the stream banks, and shallow pits. The next morning, they invited a select group of investors and geologists to witness what appeared to be a massive, untouched field of precious stones. The invitation list read like a roll call of America's financial elite. Charles Tiffany, the famed jeweler whose name had become synonymous with luxury, was sent a telegram promising a field of diamonds unrivaled in the world. William H. Vanderbilt, the railroad magnate, received a handwritten note describing a mountain of gems that will make the West the new center of the diamond trade. Even the governor of Colorado, John Evans, was lured into the charade, hoping to boost his state's reputation as a mineral powerhouse. Accompanying the businessmen were a cadre of journalists, hopeful prospectors, and, most importantly, two seasoned geologists, Clarence King, the future first director of the United States Geological Survey, and his colleague, Professor Henry H. S. Grove. When the party arrived at the site on July 30, the scene was a glittering illusion. Sunlight caught the scattered stones, creating a kaleidoscope of sparkle that seemed to confirm the investors' wildest hopes. Arnold, with the practiced confidence of a seasoned salesman, described the field as the mother lode of diamonds that will rival the mines of South Africa. He offered to sell the claim for a modest down payment, promising that a full survey would reveal reserves worth millions. The investors, dazzled by the visual proof and swayed by the persuasive narratives of American expansion, quickly pledged over $400,000, a staggering sum in 1872, to secure the rights. The deal appeared sealed, but the seasoned eyes of King and Grove were not so easily deceived. King, a meticulous observer, noted the lack of deep excavations, the uniform size of the stones, and the unmistakable signs of recent placement, loose sediment, absence of natural water erosion patterns, and the peculiar mixture of gemstones that would not naturally co-occur in a single deposit. He ordered a systematic digging of a test trench, only to find that the gems lay merely a few inches beneath the surface, as if someone had simply scattered them there the night before. Within days, the facade crumbled. The geologists reported their findings to the investors, And the story of the Colorado Diamond Field turned from triumph to scandal. Word of the fraud spread faster than the Colorado River in spring flood. Newspapers from New York to San Francisco ran headlines proclaiming, "Diamond hoax stuns the nation and scammers salt the West." The investors, embarrassed and outraged, demanded answers. Arnold and Slack attempted to salvage their reputations by claiming a natural deposit that had been disturbed by recent seismic activity, a preposterous excuse that fell on deaf ears. While criminal charges were considered, the legal landscape of the time offered little recourse for a crime that was both interstate and largely unregulated. Moreover, the victims, many of whom were among the most powerful men in the country, preferred to settle quietly rather than endure a public courtroom drama that would further tarnish their own judgment. No formal trial ever convened, but a series of civil suits followed. Tiffany and Vanderbilt each filed lawsuits seeking restitution for their losses, and the courts eventually awarded partial refunds, though the sums recovered were a fraction of the original investments. Arnold, ever the opportunist, managed to escape serious punishment, slipping back into the mining world under a new identity, while Slack disappeared into the western frontier, never to be heard from again. The Great Diamond Hoax, however, left an indelible mark on the American financial consciousness. Subscribe to The Verdict for more stories like this.